Hi everybody, it's Kim. I wanted to share with you my new mini album that I made. I actually did this with a mini kit from Amy. Her and I did a mini kit swap, and this is I'm probably going to have to do this video in two parts because, as you can see, this is a very big book. So let me start here. I bound it with 3 large rings. I should have probably used something else, but I liked the rings because they stayed, they stay stiff, and I wanted my ribbon and stuff to be long and flowing. So this is the first time I've ever done the long ribbon and fibers and things. Lace. I use lace, ribbons, fibers, and I love it. I love them long. I love the look of it. I think it's so pretty. And I put this on here. I found it in a drawer, just a gold cord with these little crystal things on the end. So I tied it on there also. And I put my charms. I have a little roulette wheel. And I have some cherries. And I have a lucky number 7. And then on this one, I have a key, Tim Holtz key that says Journey. And then the little tag that says Destiny. So, I have, up here I have a little paper clip with this little charm hanging. And I hope you can see, but my Memories is in bling. And then I stamped Of, and then I have my book plate, and I stamped Las Vegas inside my book plate. And I put just a couple flowers with a little bling in the middle, and then my feather with my butterfly from the Martha Stewart Punch, and just a little bit of lace here on the corner. But that is the front of my book, and it is Las Vegas. So, and it is very vintage. I didn't start it like that, but the first thing I opened in the kit was a package of vintage findings, and that's how I got down the vintage road with this. But I love it. I absolutely love it. So here's my first page. I took this frame that she cut out with her Sizzix. I'm pretty sure she cut it with her Sizzix, and I crackled it and painted it white, and then I sanded the edges a little bit, and I ripped the bingo card in half and put underneath. And my chandelier, I have a chandelier in almost every one of my books that I make. I just started doing that not too long ago, with a little bit of bling on the bottom. And I have these flowers. I put like 3 different flowers together. So I have a bigger one, and then I have this red sparkly one, and this little black. And then I have this little red rose that was in my thing of vintage findings. And I also have one up here, the little rose, with a ticket that says Wish. And over here I have a key with little metal tag hanging on it that says Journey. And then down here I stamped this, and it's embossed in black. It says Adventure. So that's my first page. And my second page, this was the first page I did for this book. And that's where I went down the vintage road, because Paris was my favorite place in Las Vegas. So up here I have little, says Paris on it, little pin with some ribbon underneath, and I have a Prima flower on the corner that's sprayed with Glimmer Mist. And these roses, they were white, and I sprayed them with vintage pink Tattered Angels. That's one of my favorite colors, is the vintage pink. And here I have the lace from the Martha Stewart Punch, and this beautiful button that she had in the kit. I just love that button. So I made that to hold my tag. And then I put a little bit of this stuff here on the bottom. And this was in the kit. This tag was already stamped, and it says Extraordinaire. And I put a gold button up here with fleur-de-lis hanging down. And I just left it blank on the back so I could put pictures or whatever I decide. And this tag I made from a vintage stamp that I had. So I stamped it, and on the back I just put for journaling, and I put some black fibers and some pearls, you know, off the top. And this one was also in the Vintage Findings kit, and it was stamped with an Eiffel Tower. And I left it blank on the back till I decide what to do with it. And then she cut this out with her Sizzix, and I just embossed it with black, and I have some feathers underneath my flowers. So that's my Paris page. And the next page is just very kind of simple. I put ribbon down that says Cherish Yesterday, Dream Tomorrow, Live Today. I stamped that with a stamp that I had. And I just put some vintage things up here just for matting to put my pictures on. And then this here I had found at a junk store, and I bought it probably about a year ago. And I thought, well, I'm sure there's something I'll be able to do with it. And I thought, oh, it might look really nice. So I put it on this page with some brown feathers coming out underneath. And then I have these little roses on the bottom with the little bling in the middle. But that's just kind of a very simple page. But that's kind of unique, that thing I have on there. And then this page, this was in my kit. I have it glued on. And it was blue, and I recovered it to match my page, and it's Vacation. And then I have lace behind, going down the bottom and up the side, wide lace. I don't know if you can see it behind the frame. And I have this frame on here, and I have my ticket with some poker chips, and I have a couple of flowers, and a little stone in the middle. And then just a leaf over here with a piece of bling on, big piece of bling. And this little frame here, I painted it gold with some gold, just craft paint that I had. And then this down here, I don't know if you can see, but was just a couple of vintage small postcards. And then my dice. So that is that page. Oh, and I did make a pocket. And this is something that I had made a couple of years ago, and I found it in a drawer, and I decided since it was big that I would use it in here. And the back of it I just left blank, and it just fits down in a pocket here. Okay, and on this page I had this word live in acrylic. It was an acrylic word, and I put glossy accents on it and the blue glitter, and then I went over it with UD so that the glitter wouldn't fall off. And I have the Martha Stewart lace punch lace on here, and that was kind of to cover up where I glued this piece on, but it came out much nicer than I thought it would. And then this I used, it was just a vintage thing that was in there, and I stamped it with the Tim Holtz Imagination stamp. And I just put a piece of lace here to hold it in. And I have Adventure, little adventure thing down there. And here I have a little sprig of green with a bird. And then if you open this up, I have some vintage postcards in here just to put my pictures on. And then this page I didn't really do anything with. I think I'm just going to put a big picture on there, or I'm not quite sure yet, but so I just kind of left it. And then I used my punch and did here, and that's where my big tag fits down in. And then this one is a little top note cut she made me, and I just cut off the back of it so that it was straight and would fit in my book right. and I took a piece of acrylic or acetate to make a pocket, and then I made this tag with my little vintage woman and some little postage down on the bottom, and it says Vegas Baby on it, and I used this this charm that was with my Vegas charms with the $sign on, and then a little black fiber. These are my favorite fibers to use, these black ones, and some pearls, and then I stamped, I believe this is from my Tim Holtz stamps, these from my Tim Holtz stamps, and then just a little journaling place, and I figured I could put a small picture on there. Okay, well, that's it for right now, and I'm going to go ahead and make the second part. I'll see you soon.